Betting on Sports America. I'm Phil Beer, Wayne Kimmel from 76 Capital. Wayne, welcome.
Phil, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Please tell us a little bit more about your VC firm.
So I run a venture capital firm called 76 Capital. We're based right outside of Philadelphia, and we invest in startup sports tech companies that are interested in getting involved with the next thing in the physical sports world, in the esports world, and also in the sports betting industry. So we want to find these incredible entrepreneurs who are doing the next thing and invest in them and help them grow their business.
And just to get a perspective of the kinds of startups that you invest in, what's the criteria?
Well, for us, it all starts with the person and the individual, and we look for smart and nice entrepreneurs who want to change the world, want to change their industry, want to create a company that's completely game-changing. And if we find those kinds of people and we like them, we get behind them 100%, jump on their side of the table, roll up our sleeves, and we invest in them, and then we go to work to help them be successful.
It's interesting, part of your criteria is, it's actually cited, that you look for people who are nice.
It's a big thing to us. I mean, here's the thing. Look, life's too short to work with people that aren't nice. And the other thing is we work so hard with our companies and we spend so much time with the entrepreneurs, with the management teams, with the whole team that we invest in of these companies. We want to make sure they're people that we like and we want to spend time with. If not, then what are we doing?
Tell us a little bit about your portfolio. What are some of the startups that are tied to sports betting and what are their solutions?
Well, we're so excited about the sports betting industry and really excited to be here today. We just did this amazing fireside chat, I think they wanted to call it, right, with Brian Westbrook and my partner Ryan Howard. We have our athlete venture group, and Brian is part of that, and Ryan is my partner at 76 Capital. And we've invested in the sports betting industry. We kind of went through it and developed a thesis around what we were looking at in this industry. And since PASPA has been overturned, it's been really busy for us. So we looked at what was been happening in the data collection side of the business, the data analytics piece, the broadcasting side, and the media piece of it. So how are those industries going to be changed and affected by innovation, technology, in and around the sports betting industry? And we've made investments in those different areas.
What are some of the ripple effects that stand out? You talk about media even. What do you see some of those ripple?
Well, one of the things I see in my team and I see in the media side of things is it's really how will people talk about sports and sports betting differently than they will be talked about today. So one of our companies we invested in is a company called VSiN, and VSiN was started by Brent Musburger, and they put the studio inside the sports book at the South Point Casino. So it's like CNBC being on the floor of the stock exchange. So our studio's on the floor of a sports book in Las Vegas, right in the middle, and we also had a studio here on the East Coast as well. So it's pretty amazing to be there, to be able to talk about the sports betting industry as a market, as it continues now, with 8 states legal and many more to become legal over the year and the coming years. This industry, which is a $5 billion nice, I call it a cottage industry, but $5 billion is not too bad. But this $5 billion industry is looking to become a $500 billion industry. And to be able to report on that and talk about that and see how things are moving and the lines are shifting and how companies are being built, and that's something that we think is a really important thing to do, and it's something that I think CNBC has done pretty well in being a company in this industry, in what they do for the market and what we're going to do for the sports betting industry from a VSiN perspective.
When you're in the front lines of this, really, because you're around a number of startups that have these amazing ideas, they're innovators, and you're hearing things that probably sometimes shock you. What are some of those surprises that you have heard that maybe those watching this video or listening to it will be surprised about?
Well, we're looking for surprises. We're all about surprises. We're all about the crazy ones. We're about the crazy entrepreneurs who are doing things that other people don't understand, because to be truly innovative, you really need to do things that people don't understand, because if it's not crazy, if it's not something people don't understand, then it's not innovative. So we're looking for the things that are sort of, wow, I never thought about that. Maybe that doesn't really make sense today, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those entrepreneurs who are doing those types of things. And one of the things which I just thought was just such a big move was, and then we'll talk about VEASAN again, but like when they put a sports media studio inside of a sports book, people said, that's crazy, why would you do that? But now, people walk up to that glass box, they put their face up against the window to see Brent Musburger, to see guests. My partner Ryan will come on and talk about baseball, and when Ryan's talking about baseball, or just the other day, Neil Everett from ESPN, the ESPN's Sports Center anchor, was in Vegas. He comes over and he just looks, and literally he's like almost falls over, like, oh my God, there's Brent. I got to get on the set. And he came in, and afterwards he says to me, he's like, it was I'm like, I've gone to heaven, you know, and I'm good because I just got to be on Brent Musburger's show to talk about sports betting. And it was an amazing thing, and we really appreciate having him. But he and Linda Cohn and others talk about our shows, whether that's Mitch and Paulie or the Brent's show, My Guys in the Desert. They'll talk about our shows on SportsCenter. It's pretty incredible.
Let's take a little bit more of a dive into your portfolio. What are some of your startups that are getting a lot of buzz more than the others?
Well, in the sports betting industry, we talked about VEASAN. We're also really excited about what's happening around a company called Swish Analytics. It's not getting a lot of buzz because I don't think they want a lot of buzz yet, but they are really doing some interesting things. Actually, they got a lot of buzz around what they just did with the Sacramento Kings, and they built a next generation sports book inside the Sacramento Kings arena. And what a lot of people called it was like, wow, I'm walking into the Apple store, but you're actually walking into a next generation sports book. And that was really cool to see all the iPads and everything inside of there. And then you think about what companies like Shot Tracker are doing. And Shot Tracker is able to track over 120 movements a second that a basketball player makes on the court. Now, what do you do with all that data? We talked earlier about data analytics and taking that information and then being able to use that, not only as a coach, a general manager, an owner of a team, a broadcaster, but what will the sports books do when they have just unbelievable amounts of information about the players, about their, how they're playing on the court today as how they played in the past, how they're playing with the 4 other players on the court, and what will happen when those 5 are on the court versus when the coach pulls one out and puts another one in. You can immediately determine what's going to happen, or at least think you know what's going to happen, but you can use predictive analytics and machine learning and all sorts of types of things that have never really been used at the level they can be used in the sports betting industry to date. And now as the sports betting industry scales from just being a great business in Nevada to being a great business all across America, there are going to be some really interesting companies and entrepreneurs and people that are going to be building things moving forward that we're really excited to invest in, continue investing in the companies that we're already involved with, but find more entrepreneurs, find people who are really pushing the limits, who are trying to do the next thing in this industry, and we'll get a piece of this pie. And we're excited to get behind some of those entrepreneurs.
In regard to predictive analytics, what should the casino operator be concerned about in regard to predictive analytics?
Well, I think the casino operator, look, they're all hiring like crazy right now. So if you're really good at math and you love sports, and you can get a job. You can get any of the major sports books or casino operators today. It's just like, I tell a lot of young people, it was impossible to get into this. It used to be impossible to get into the sports industry. It's not impossible to get in the sports industry anymore. You have to have certain specific talents and education, but there are more and more opportunities than ever. I was just in one of the NFL team front offices, and I saw the social media room for one of the top NFL teams, and it was bigger than most NFL offices back in the day. I mean, just, tens of people working on social media. So like you think about the amount of jobs that are available. So from a social media perspective, from a sports betting perspective, from a analytics perspective, you go to all the winter meetings, or you go to the meetings now that the major leagues now have, and you look around and who's in the room. These are math guys. Right? These are people that actually truly understand the numbers, and that's what you really need to do to move forward. And also the same thing is, look at the owners of the teams today. A lot of the new owners were and are entrepreneurs. Look at the new owner of the Carolina Panthers. What was that guy prior to becoming the owner of the Carolina Panthers? A hedge fund guy, a quant, a really smart guy who knows numbers. He's going to really infuse that kind of systems and processes into that organization. And sports betting's obviously part of all that.
We're talking about so much opportunity related to this, and back to that point, we touched on it earlier, but there's some startups, there's some young people listening to this interview right now around the country, and they're saying, we would love to go work for you and work with Ryan and Brian. What a cool environment. We want to be involved. Can you just touch in more detail about who you were looking for and what the profile is?
Well, again, I'll go back to what we're all about. We want to find people that are smart, that are nice, and truly have a big vision and want to do really big things and want to truly change the world. That's what we're all about. And so on our website at 76 Capital, you can go to 76 Capital/careers, and we have openings at 76 Capital. We also have opportunities with our portfolio companies that we've invested in, that are looking for people that want to do the next thing. And we hope that, I really appreciate, you having me on your show, and, this idea of being able to find the next great entrepreneurs, people that want to work in these businesses. I mean, think about it. Swish Analytics is one of our companies that's based in San Francisco. They have games on all day long. The games start early out there, right? So it's West Coast, so it's 3 hours earlier. So even the 7 o'clock games here are 4 o'clock games, but during the summer when you have baseball games are on all day long. So we're actually seeing incredible engineers, mathematicians, physics engine people who are working at the Googles and the Facebooks of the world. And they're kind of tired of doing social media or social networking or search. And they want to take their skill sets and bring that over to the sports betting industry and be around sports all day. That's not so bad. It's not so bad to do things that you love and that you're passionate about from 9 to 5 and not just have to wait until 5 o'clock when the day's over to go do things you're passionate about. What's so fascinating right now is that if you're passionate about sports and technology and being an entrepreneur and wanting to do the next thing, now is your time. More than ever. This is your time. This is your opportunity. So it's an exciting time for us.
Very exciting. And Wayne, before we say farewell, what are some takeaways that you would like us to, maybe some final thoughts that you're seeing today and at the conference?
Well, I think one of the things that we're really excited about is the fact that athletes are really thinking about themselves as entrepreneurs. And as you saw today, having the opportunity of interviewing my partner Ryan Howard, who was a World Series champion, MVP of Major League Baseball, Brian Westbrook, played in the Super Bowl, 2-time Pro Bowler, NFL unbelievable player with the Philadelphia Eagles when he played for them, and a super person, both of them, super people, really smart people. But to have them now crossing over and getting involved in the business world, inspiring entrepreneurs, helping them with this whole idea, because it's all about the mindset. It's all about your mindset. You got to be a successful football player, baseball player, basketball player, whatever it is, if you play at the highest levels, you have to have incredible passion, desire, drive, persistence to be successful. And those guys did that at the highest level. And now they're able to translate this and share those types of stories and information and experiences with our entrepreneurs who need to do the same exact things to be successful, to get to the height of their industry. If they're going to be the best data analytics company in the sports betting industry, you got to be passionate about it. You got to have an incredible drive and desire, and man, you need a lot of persistence, because you're going to get knocked down. People are going to tell you your ideas are crazy. You're going to get walked out of meetings and said, that is the dumbest idea I ever heard of. And that's what happens when you're an entrepreneur. That's what happens in this industry. But imagine then having Ryan Howard come around and put his arm around you and say, you know what, it's all right. I'm with you. Because you know what? I struck out 3 times in a game. I came back the next day and I hit a home run. And that's what you're going to do. And that's what our guys do for our companies. And we're really excited to have, our whole athlete venture group, which includes Ryan and Brian and Ralph Sampson and DeMarco Murray and many more to come in the future. So we're looking for more of the athletes, we're looking for more entrepreneurs, we're looking for more really smart people who want to join our team, that of course are nice, that are the right kinds of people. But that's what it's all about right now, and this is just a really great time. And I personally, as an investor who was there investing in internet companies back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and saw how exciting that time was, this time right now with regulated sports betting is even more exciting.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, appreciate it.